Batman number 9, written by Scott Snyder, art by Greg Capullo. This is part 2, or the conclusion, or a tie-in to Night of the Owls. It's last issue was part 1, and this technically should be the conclusion, but at the same point there's still other tie-ins happening after this, so I don't know what you want to call it. But regardless, last issue, Bruce broke out the Hellbat armor, a giant armored suit, and went to go fight some Talons that were invading his cave. And this issue is just more of that for the start. And he's going over how the Wayne brothers of Solomon and Joshua bought the mansion back in 1855, but they didn't immediately move in because the entire place was infested with bats. So they were advised, hey, you need to bring in some big birds to hunt the bats. So they brought in a bunch of falcons and hawks and stuff like that, and they discovered that the best thing for the job were owls. So the owls rid the caves of all the bats, and eventually the brothers moved in. Anyway, into the fight scene. So he's fighting Talons in this giant armor, and Alfred keeps telling him, sir, the temperature's dropping like crazy, but they are tearing you apart out there. You are pretty much on the verge of death, and you need to get back into the armory immediately. And he's like, no, the doors won't hold. I have to fight them out here. I have to take them out before they get to the doors. And he's like, okay, but please, they have a whole lot going for them. And he's like, exactly, so I get to play rough. And he starts doing things that are basically killing them, which I'm pretty sure is just skirting the no-kill rule, but regardless, I guess they survive. So he fires off some cryogenically frozen batarangs, and he starts taking them out. And he's just listing off a whole bunch of tech here about why the suit's so gosh darn awesome. But then as he's doing so, he is starting to lose. The Talons are just chipping away at his armor. And he's tossed down next to the giant T-Rex. And the Talons just start piling on and start really knocking him out. And they're like, okay, we're going to do it. We're going to kill you. You know, you Waynes always put up such a fight whenever we come after you. Maybe next time invest in a guard dog or something. He's like, I've already got one. And then the T-Rex lifts up its foot and then crashes it down onto a bunch of the Talons. And they're just like, what the hell? Whatever, man. We're still going to fight you. So he still tries to attack them a little bit, but he's really falling behind. And Alfred is saying, Master Bruce, I'm coming out. I'm going to help you as best I can. And he starts to activate the doors, but then Bruce shouts open, nope, override that. Alfred, stay in there. And he's like, no, please, Master Bruce, let me help. One of the Talons plunges a knife into his visor, and just ever so slowly it's inching closer and closer to his face. And then he continues his opening narration where he's like, yeah, they used owls to kill the bats. There were owls everywhere, but I forgot one thing. The bats came back. And then we see this giant horde of bats just come out of the deeper caves and start attacking all of the Talons. Bruce just gets out of his armor in negative temperatures, mind you. It is freezing out there, but he's whatever. I guess he's fine. And so apparently the extreme cold brought the bats out of the deep dark caves. Sure, I guess that's how it works. So they start attacking all of the Talons. The Talons are going down just by the cold at this point, and then one of the Talons is trying to escape, and Batman literally runs him over with the Batmobile. And Alfred's like, he's like, nah, he's got a healing factor, he's fine. Anyway, let's go. There's an owl symbol over Gotham that I need to deal with, which apparently is resolved in Batgirl number 9. So he gets the list from Alfred of all the names of the people, and he sees that there are only 2 names left there are barely any green names left. There's only 2. Jeremiah Markham, which is dealt with in Detective Comics number 9, and Lincoln March. And everyone else is either already dead or being helped in some other Bat book. So we see a couple of the Bat family fighting, and he's like, all right, I'm going to go deal with Jeremiah Arkham real quick, and then I'm going to go help Lincoln March. So then he goes and does the entirety of Detective Comics number 9, and then he comes back for Lincoln March. And as he walks into March's, I guess, election office, March is sitting there, and he's as soon as the door opens, he says, Bruce Wayne, and fires a gun in Batman's direction. But we see that it was actually meant for a Talon who was, hiding behind the door. And the reason he said Bruce Wayne was because he's already been stabbed in the chest with the Talon's dagger, and he's just trying to cough off, like, I have a message for Bruce Wayne. You must get it to him, Batman. I know that you guys are friends. Please tell him that Gotham, cough, cough, is worth it. And then he dies with Bruce standing over top. And he looks at this piece of paper and he sees that it's the names of a couple people who Lincoln was investigating as part of the Court of Owls. So he already has like a location that he thinks that these owls are going to be at. And so he's like, all right, Alfred, I know where they live. They came into my house. I'm going to burn theirs to the ground. And that's how the issue ends. There's technically a, what's it called? Backup story, but I'll be covering that on the 5th week this month. So, yeah, no, this issue was good. It was really good. I think that having the T-Rex be a defense measure is something that, like, sounds cool, but it needs to be equally as cool in use. And obviously it couldn't be something that just, did the thing. It just wiped out all the Talons. But having it just step on a couple and then not move again, that just felt, I don't know, it felt like an awesome idea that was in just like, and we used it on something that was, a little bit lackluster. And then again, having the bats come out and all the Talons are like, oh no, bats. I feel like one of them should have been like, I'm still just going to real quick just stick this knife into Bruce Wayne's gut. Like, that was just real quick. I feel like that's something that maybe they shouldn't have been that distracted. But again, it went down to, I think I said last time, of Power Ranger rules, where there's a really hard enemy to fight, and then as soon as there's a bunch of them, they become inconsequential. So, yeah, it's got some issues. But I do enjoy the story itself. The Lincoln March thing is interesting at the very least. It gives a little bit of a moment for Bruce. Maybe because he went to Jeremiah Arkham first, it's going to use this as a thing of guilt of, I can't save everyone. And this person who is so much better than Jeremiah Arkham in like what he's been doing, maybe I've been failing this city. I don't know. However they go with it, they go with it. But yeah, overall, I'm going to give this one a 7, just 7. 0.5 doesn't quite seem worth it. But I do feel like next issue is going to be a pretty big one, considering he's now got a location for the Court of Owls. So we'll see how it goes from there. But I guess this is technically the end of Court of Owls. I don't know. There are more tie-ins, but I don't know where they fall in consequentially to this. So I guess we'll see.